and be tortured with hot hair dryer. The school gymnasium resounded her scream, couldn't stand it anymore. Dong-un asked the police for help. Yunjin's mother took care of everything. The police only taught them in parables, then let them go. Dong-un thought she would escape from hell. However, they even tortured her more cruelly. The next day, she went to the medical room for an antiseptic. The school nurse rolled up Dong-un's sleeves. That terrible burn scarred the school nurse. Dong-un was too frightened to tell the school nurse. When she asked who did it, a familiar telephone bell rang and a girl pulled the curtain aside. Yunjin admitted to do it. All the time, the rich kid was way too arrogant, yet, the school nurse couldn't do anything to her. At night, Yunjin and her friends sneaked into Dong-un's room and broke her piggy bank. They scattered her savings to brag their high-ranking social position. Looking at Dong-un's flawless legs and the iron on the floor, Yunjin came up with an idea and gave Dong-un a painful night. After they left, Dong-un stood alone on the rooftop. She wanted to end her life full of tragedy. When it snowed, the snow touched her wounds, giving her an itchy rash. She rubbed the snow against her legs. Yet, it couldn't pour off her anger. She even took off all her clothes and nestled herself in the snow. Maybe that was the only way to relieve her suffering. In the end, she chose to quit school, as her reason was school violence. The homeroom teacher was afraid that his career would be screwed. Dong-un posed a question to him. What will you do if your son is suffering from school violence? Her question irritated him. He took off his watch and asked her not to mention his son, then he slapped her in the face. He kept punching her and challenged her to repeat it. Other teachers tried but failed to stop him. He kept slapping Dong-un until he got over being mad. To protect Yunjin's reputation, her mother went to see Dong-un's mother. She wanted Dong-un to change the reason of quitting school in the form. Dong-un's mother happily agreed when she was paid a lot for that. When Dong-un returned to her room, it was empty. The hostess said her mother returned the room. When the reason on the form was changed, she felt disappointed about her mother. Standing on the river bank, the cold water stopped her from taking her own life. She wasn't afraid of death. What else could scare her? The following day, Dong-un went to the school gymnasium with her determination. Yunjin found another girl to bully. Dong-un talked about each of the bullies' dreams. Sarah dreamt to be an artist. Jae-jun would inherit a golf club. Haijong wanted to be a flight attendant. Dong-un asked if Yunjin wanted to be a perfect wife and mother. The bullies laughed out loud when she finished her words. Yunjin asked about Dong-un's dream. Dong-un claimed that Yunjin would be her dream from then on. She said they would definitely meet again, and put on her face a scary smile. The bullies stared at her with inscrutable eyes, as if they had never known her. After that, Dong-un worked her ass out. She worked at a factory on the daylight. At night, she studied hard for the graduation exam in the hallway. There was a girl working in the same factory didn't want to bother Dong-un, so she took off her shoes everyone coming. Back to the dormitory, there were still good people left in the world. Finally, her efforts paid off. Dong-un was accepted to a college and carried on her goal for life in another place. Yunjin was having an affair with Jae-jun. They were thought to be together for their whole life. However, Yunjin got married to a rich man named Du-young. Seeing the happiness in her face, Jae-jun got so angry. At such an important moment, Dong-un couldn't be absent. She honestly wished Yunjin would be happy. Getting married isn't the only happiness in life. After 15 years, Yunjin and all her friends fulfilled their dreams. Sare became a famous artist. Jae-jun inherited the golf club and became a rich man. Haijong as a flight attendant always tried to find a rich husband. Yunjin was working as a weather broadcaster who couldn't write the script on her own, yet, she always looked down her staff. Myung-oh was still an errand boy following Jae-jun. He was nothing in Jae-jun's eyes. To make money, Dong-un were tutoring many students. When she was tutoring a boy, he said he would get flying colors once she could show him her breasts, because she would be paid more when his ranking went up. Dong-un didn't get mad at him. This was nothing compared to what she had experienced before. She showed him her phone, which was connecting to his mother. Then she told his mother, "Do you know I've recorded everything? Pay me if you need me to keep me silent." The boy said, "Don't you want to be a full-time teacher? You are not allowed to do that." Dong-un replied in a calm voice, "Why can't I? Good luck with your exam." On the way home, Dong-un blacked out. She was in the hospital when she opened her eyes. Yu-jong, son of the hospital director, was next to her. He fell for her at first sight. When he helped her pulled out the 4 catheter, he saw the burns on her arm. Dong-un rolled her sleeve down. Then she left with her backpack. They couldn't find her to give her a checkup result. Checking on it, Yu-jong knew she got an anemia. He went to the college where she was studying. Dong-un smiled and walked towards him. Yu-jong thought she recognized him and he was about to greet her, yet, she was coming towards another guy. They were chatting with each other. She didn't recognize him at all. Yu-jong left with a long face. Yunjin was living happily with Du-young. They had a daughter named Yi-sol. One day, Duyong told Yunjin that Haijong told him many things about their school days. Yunjin worriedly asked what she had told him. She was very worried that Haijong would tell him she was a bully. Fortunately, she just talked about their achievements. Yunjin sighed with relief. To stop Haijong from telling him everything, she asked to see Sae and Haijong. Haijong's family was poor. Her parents were running a laundry shop, her whole family lived on it. She usually put on herself clothes of the customers. She chose an expensive bodycon to wear, it was too small for her. Sarah warned Haijong not to go beyond the pale. If it weren't thanks to Dong-eun, Haijong would take her place and get all those burns. Yunjin also gave Haijong a warning, watch your mouth, don't tell anyone about our school days, nod if you understand. Haijong thought to be cry her heart out, however, she took a selfie and posted. To show people how close they were, after Yunjin's wedding, Dong-eun spied on one more person. It was Duyong, Yunjin's husband. As he was keen on Go, she learned how to play. Moreover, she watched the elderly played Go in the parks. When Dong-eun was about to leave, she encountered Yujong. They had a talk and Yujong knew she wanted to learn how to play Go, so he wanted to teach her. Because he was very good at Go. She wondered if he could teach her at night. She had to go to work. Together, they practiced playing Go together under the old tree in the park. Time passed by. It was time to say goodbye. She told him, I won't come here anymore. I need to beat someone. Her revenge was started since she received the pedagogical certificate. She wanted Yunjin to be abandoned. Even her daughter, who was always proud of her, would also leave her. One day, she dropped by Jaejun's high-end store, paid for a pair of shoes and asked to see Myung-oh. Dong-eun knew he was extremely dissatisfied with Jaejun, taking advantage of Myung-oh's hatred to sow the seeds of dissension between them. She said she wished this store would belong to Myung-oh. Myung-oh asked her not to act smart. However, she revealed a shocking news to him. It was too thrilling to keep it for herself. A simple-minded person like him fell into her trap. At that time, the real estate broker noticed her that there was a vacant room in the building where she wanted to stay. She brought her stamp to sign the contract. Dong-eun lived in the building opposite Yunjin's house. Looking at Yunjin's home, her scars got itchy. To become a teacher at Semyong Primary School, she collected information about the chairman. The house helper caught her groping for the evidences in the trash bin. Though Dong-eun was seen on the CCTV, Hyun-nam took photos of her for the last 6 months. Dong-eun was about to bribe her. As Dong-eun was doing it for half a year, Hyun-nam wished she would work it out. She wanted to help Dong-eun. And also asked for Dong-eun's help. Dong-eun wanted to know what she needed. Hyun-nam wanted Dong-eun to get rid of her husband. Dong-eun was extremely surprised. She didn't know why Hyun-nam wished for it. Hyun-nam had experienced family violence for such a long time. Her body was full of wounds. He even beat her daughter up. Hyun-nam and her daughter were miserable, feeling poor for them. Dong-eun decided to help her. Then she gave Hyun-nam photos and information she had collected, asking Hyun-nam to spy on Jaejun and Yunjin. Dong-eun no longer fought alone. Hyun-nam spied on them all the time, and saw Yunjin taking her daughter to a. Dong-eun remembered that a boy said Jaejun was colorblind. Jaejun beat the boy up. Myung-oh stopped Jaejun before it was too late. It seems like you can't become a good mother and a good wife, Yunjin. Try hard to cover yourself. Somewhere else, Duyong often come to a Go club to practice. One day, he was attracted by a noise. A cool woman could beat the elderly there easily. Duyong came to watch the matches. Dong-eun said there was no way out. If he didn't withdraw, he would lose 10 territories. Having a close look at the chessboard, he immediately understood her. As expected, Dong-eun won. Her talent impressed and attracted Duyong. At home, Duyong flashed back Dong-eun's match. She could end the match early from the beginning, yet, she gave the rival many chances. He couldn't understand why. Yunjin asked who made him ponder. He said someone at the Go club. Then he asked if she had something to tell him. Yunjin was going to take a nap before going to work. She wondered why Duyong was interested in such a common game. He asked her back why she still smoked though it wasn't good for her health. Yunjin wondered why he married someone who smoked despite that he hated smoking. His answer satisfied her. You're beautiful and interesting. After leaving the Go club, she went to work. She traveled by train to Hyun-nam's home for tutoring her daughter, and encountered Yujong in the train. Yujong stared at her. He was afraid of mistaking someone else for her. He wondered if she got the certificate. She said yes. Dong-eun thanked for his congratulation. They hadn't seen each other for a long time. Dong-eun heard people in the park. They said he joined military service. Yujong and Dong-eun had a long talk. Before leaving, he gave her his card visit with a hope that she would contact him. Dong-eun encountered the hostess while checking the mailbox. The hostess wondered why Dong-eun barely stayed home during the last 6 months. She explained that she had not been accepted as a school teacher, and she was trying to get accepted. Hyun-nam found an important information, and she wanted to see Dong-eun in person. the chairman of the school board was having a homosexual relationship with his driver. Hyunam even voiced off their talk, recalling the medicine and the paper of will she found earlier. Dong-eun knew why the chairman wanted his driver to inherit part of his assets. Soon after, she met up with the chairman of the school board, using his secret to accept her as a teacher at Semyong. Finally, she had a chance to be the homeroom teacher of Yeonjin's daughter. Yeonjin returned to her old high school as an excellent graduate. Dong-eun went to find Yeonjin for a talk. Her name was forgotten, while the bullies were the excellent graduates. How ridiculous. When Yeonjin made a speech on the stage, Dong-eun shouted loudly, "You're so cool, Yeonjin." Seeing Dong-eun's attitude, Yeonjin and her friends couldn't believe in their eyes. When there were no one else except Yeonjin and her friends, she slapped Dong-eun, questioning why she was there. Dong-eun remembered that Yeonjin dreamt to do an honorable job and to marry a rich man at her in the prime of youth. Yeonjin had it both. Dong-eun was envy of their long-term friendship. Jae-joon know Dong-eun's school days were black and white. Her life seemed to be more colorful. Dong-eun responded, "Are you sure?" Then she announced that she would keep her eyes on Yeonjin every time, everywhere. She was so happy to meet them. What a pity. Jae-joon couldn't know how colorful it is. Finishing her words, she just left, making them vexed. They had no idea that they would be severely punished soon. After that, Yeonjin ordered Myung-oh to dig into Dong-eun, yet, he already took side with Dong-eun. Isol called Yeonjin and told about her new homeroom teacher who was Yeonjin's friend. And her name was Dong-eun. Yeonjin lost her composure. She rushed to the school with a fear that Dong-eun would maltreat her daughter, and asked Dong-eun if it was her trap. She even said Dong-eun would marry a beggar like herself, living as humble origins. Dong-eun said she had experienced a hard time, and she couldn't die before the evils were punished. Facing fearless Dong-eun, Yeonjin said she didn't care. Before leaving, she received a message from her friends. Their homeroom teacher passed away. Even though Dong-eun was very calm, she immediately understood that this was also part of Dong-eun's revenge plan. A few days ago, Dong-eun visited him with a bouquet. Introducing herself, she asked if he was doing well. He asked her again who she was. She said she was a former student at Sunghan, who quit school in 2004. She wondered if he didn't remember. Hearing her name, he was extremely panicked. At this moment, Dong-eun's schoolmate showed up. He said her homeroom teacher was his father. Dong-eun pretended to be surprised. In fact, she knew it long ago. That was why she approached him on purpose. She also boasted that she already became a teacher. He remembered what he did to her back then. He slapped her around when she dared to mention his son. It was sure that she was there for a revenge. The homeroom teacher thought she wanted to ruin his son's future. He lashed out at her. Dong-eun no longer hid it. She said he slapped her instead of helping her from being bullied. Suhan was very angry hearing so. It wasn't easy for him to be in the civil service. He couldn't let his father ruin it. He put the flower in the house on purpose. His father died of an allergy. That was how the homeroom teacher passed away. Yeonjin was scared. She couldn't read Dong-eun's mind. Dong-eun warned Yeonjin not to transfer her daughter to another school nor find another teacher to replace her. Yeonjin deserved all these consequences. Yeonjin lost her mind but she couldn't do anything. Dong-eun moved on the next step of her revenge plan. First, she met the school nurse. Listening to what the medical teacher said, Dong-eun learned that before he was bullied, there was another girl who was bullied by Yeonjin and her friends before Dong-eun. Dong-eun was ready for a long battle. The school nurse had only one wish, that Dong-eun would win. Ever since Dong-eun was at her 18, the school nurse always supported her. Dong-eun was touched as the school nurse was the only light shining her dark life. After that, she went to see Myung-oh. He gave the evidences of Sare's drug purchase and profile of the man who Haejong was dating. Dong-eun gave him a note which helped him earn a large amount of money. That was his payment. Myung-oh went to the address in her note. It was a morgue where preserving Sohee's body. Her parents believed that someone took her life so they didn't cremate her body. That was why they had been preserving her body. Dong-eun suggested that Myung-oh should blackmail the culprit. She seemed to help him get rich, yet, she was pushing him into hell. Myung-oh didn't know her true purpose. He went to see Dong-eun to ask about the culprit. Myung-oh knew the culprit was someone of his friends. Could it be Sare who did it under the influence of drug, or Yeonjin who was their leader? Myung-oh said they were on the same boat. He asked her who took Sohee's life. She told Myung-oh who was the culprit, but Myung-oh's purpose was not simple. He bought a one-way plane ticket abroad in advance. Then asked to see each of his friends and even Yeonjin's husband. The following days, they couldn't reach him on the phone, since when Dong-eun became Yesol's homeroom teacher, Yeonjin was a knife edge every day. She was afraid that Dong-eun would hurt Yesol with a hair dryer. Yesol didn't know why her mother was worried. She wondered why someone hurt the others with hair dryer. What an evil. And the evil deserves to be punished. Yunjin felt a pain in her heart. She went to see the dean to protect her daughter. The dean said it was the chairman of the school board sent her. Dong-eun's profile was perfect. Yunjin went to Yisol's class after that. She saw Dong-eun standing behind her daughter to provoke her. Dong-eun touched Yisol's shoulder even when she was holding scissors. Yunjin went wild with anger. She wanted to use money to stop Dong-eun from revenging. As long as you write down the amount of money you want and get out of my life for good, I will agree to all your conditions. Dong-eun asked if Yunjin didn't feel sorry. Yunjin said, "Aren't you blackmailing me for money? We're both nearly 40, be practical. Don't be a daydreamer, it's all bygone. What do you want from me?" As Yunjin had no remorse, Dong-eun wouldn't spare her. She wanted to punish Yunjin by law. By the way, Dong-eun admitted that she knew Yisol had red-green color blindness. Yunjin realized that Dong-eun knew her secret. Dong-eun wanted Yunjin to suffer from anxiety all the time, and Dong-eun would be by her side. When she failed to handle it with money, Yunjin persuaded her husband to send Yisol to study abroad. Duyong asked for a legitimate reason. He would consider it, yet, Yunjin couldn't tell him the reason why. She made up an excuse. Ever since witnessing Dong-eun's talent, Duyong came to the Go Club every day to find her. However, she wasn't there for days. One day when he was leaving, he saw her coming. Finally, he could play Go with her. Of course, it was Dong-eun's plan. Duyong asked what she did for a living. She said she made naive men cry by stabbing their backs. Her answer made him laugh. He wanted to know if she could make lots of money. She said good people like her couldn't make a fortune. Dong-eun answered all his questions. She was like a puzzle and he wanted to know more about her. Duyong asked Dong-eun for the last round when she wanted to leave. That meant he already fell into her trap. After that, she had dinner at a convenience store. Duyong saw her by accident. He got in to ask her more questions. She wondered if he was that talkative. He admitted himself as a man of few words. Even himself couldn't get why he was like that. Before leaving, he gave her his card visit, with a hope that they could play Go together again. To make him more curious about her, Dong-eun refused to keep a distance. Someone took photos of them from afar. In the toilet, Hyun-nam swapped Hae-jong's phone when she didn't notice. Dong-eun collected many things from the phone. Hae-jong took photos with different men. She was going to get married. Hae-jong was never considered to be on the same level with her friends. To satisfy her greed, she could only enhance her social status by marrying a rich man. Her fiancé was very rich. But he was a mama boy. However, his mother didn't like Hae-jong. She asked Hae-jong to have a health checkup. Also, she dug into Hae-jong's family. Hae-jong tried her to best flatter her future mother-in-law. While they were talking, her future mother-in-law called someone's name. Dong-eun praised the mother's beauty. Seeing Hae-jong, Dong-eun called her name. Hae-jong was astonished when Dong-eun was close with her future mother-in-law. She knew why Dong-eun came there, to grab the chance to marry a rich man. She knelt down and begged for Dong-eun's mercy, claiming that she didn't mean to hurt Dong-eun back then. She wanted to do. She said that she was young and naive back then. As young and stupid as she was tempted to make such a mistake. She kept begging Dong-eun. Dong-eun wanted to know if it was really her mistake. So she pointed at Hae-jong with a burning piece of wood. Hae-jong backed away with fear. "Are you insane? I'm a flight attendant." Dong-eun got scared like that every day. Hae-jong pled for her forgiveness and not to tell her mother-in-law. Moreover, she even wished Dong-eun would cut the cord with her mother-in-law until she got married. She already quit her job, so if she couldn't marry him, she would lose all her income. Despite her plea, Dong-eun didn't change her mind. She took off her mask. Dong-eun returned her the phone. She saw everything in there, and gave Hae-jong only one chance, which was to provide her any information she asked for. After that, Dong-eun went to see Sae, blackmailing her with her secret. Sae was asked to fill Dong-eun's bag with full of money within half a month. "Are you blackmailing me? Have you never been blackmailed?" When they fought, Dong-eun grabbed Sae's hair. Sae had a hair loss. Dong-eun claimed that she didn't even blackmail Sae yet. Elsewhere, Yoo-jong couldn't sleep without the sound of effervescent tablet, which helped him calm down. His colleague heard his phone ringing. When he was only half awake, he jumped out of his skin reading a message from Dong-eun. He thought his phone was broken. She texted him after 7 years. 7 years ago, he taught Dong-eun how to play Go. She had never replied to his messages. One day, she remembered their history looking the elderly playing Go in the park. She read all the messages sent by Yoo-jong, and replied him to ask about the medicine she needed. Yoo-jong was too happy to call her right away. He asked to see her. "Where are you now?" At night, they met under the familiar old tree 7 years ago. He knew that Dong-eun was working as a teacher at Semyang Elementary School. The medicine she asked for was for men. He wondered if she bought it for her boyfriend. Dong-eun said it wasn't like that. Actually, he knew she was making an excuse to reject him. She wanted him not to text her anymore. He really didn't know why she was like that. Yet, he encouraged her to keep doing what she wanted, and claimed that he would make her happy as her boyfriend. Hearing his love confession, Dong-eun didn't think it was time for her to be happy. She thought she would live in the dark for good. Revenge was her goal for life. Although she did have feelings for Yoo-jong, she had no courage to stay with him. She told him she was in need of a headsman, not a prince. Hearing what she said, he didn't get what she meant. No matter what decisions she made, he would always support her. To help Dong-eun, he went to see his mother, and told her that he already resigned as he didn't want to be a professor. He wanted to open his own clinic at the city where his crush was living. When his mom asked, he said he wasn't dating yet. Then he told her about his crush, who was as silent as a lake, but she made him crazy about her. Sang-im couldn't understand her son, because he wasn't trying to make money, he was doing it for love. She wondered if he had a man's will. Yeonjin was trying in vain to kick Dong-eun out of the school. She had no choice but to go to see a psychic with her mother. They asked the psychic for help. Yang Ae denounced Dong-eun to the Department of Education. Yeonjin didn't agree, because she didn't want Yi-sol to hear about her mother as a bully. Yang Ae had told Yeonjin many times to be more cruel. The solution was always in front, not behind her. Yeonjin felt so tense at work. She continued browsing the company's forum to see if there was any post about her. Her colleagues nearby laughing at her as she was unable to write scripts. It was thanks to her husband's money that she could be a broadcaster. Yeonjin provoked her colleagues with her questions. Sumi was subdued by Yeonjin's attitude. Yeonjin even warned that she would tell their boss Sumi's secret if Sumi dared to mock at her again. Sumi might lose her job. At night, Yeonjin had a meal with the chief of police. She wanted to find Dong-eun's foible. However, he made an excuse to refuse her. Chief Shin was actually asking for a bigger amount of money. In fact, Chief Shin put Dong-eun under his watch. Dong-eun managed to give her pursuers the slip. She sped up to run away. They pulled up short in front of them to make them show themselves. As they drove a rental car, they had to agree to reconcile to avoid a filed charge at the police station. After they left, Dong-eun sighed with relief. Even though she still freaked out, Hyun-nam inquired after Dong-eun after the incident. Dong-eun was suspicious of her. Hyun-nam explained that she saw Dong-eun getting a company on the way she came there, so she followed after Dong-eun. Her only wish was to have dinner with her daughter. She didn't want anything else. Dong-eun said sorry for suspecting Hyun-nam. She promised to make Hyun-nam's dream come true. They were partners who helped one another revenge. Afterwards, she went to an auto, hearing the sound of grilled meat on the grill. She remembered her skin was burnt by the hair dryer, and she dropped her phone when the trauma strangled her. She was struggling to find for her phone. While groping for it, she dropped the stuff by accident. It made her feel helpless when some people inquired after her. Next, she went to see Yoo-jong. Seeing her pale face and dirt on her clothes, he knew she got into a trouble. Dong-eun told him about her school days. That was why she bet her life on revenge. She couldn't lose the game. Yoo-jong asked if she ever wanted to give up on her revenge. Her life was much more important than those bullies. After revenge was completed, her life would be insipid. Dong-eun could tell that Yoo-jong had a great childhood. Never had he experienced hardships. He frightened out seeing the burns on her arm. You seem panicked seeing one of my arms. Do you still want me to give up? Standing under the light, Dong-eun took off her coat. He felt both angry and heartbroken when seeing her body full of burns. This chilling scene made him both angry and heartbroken. He couldn't believe that there were such evil people in the world. As Dong-eun lost her self-esteem, she told him to give up on her. Dong-eun was totally dominated by her anger. Yet, Yoo-jong said he agreed to be her headsman. Then he gently put a coat on her. Call me if you're in a trouble. I once struggled in despair, so I can know how you feel. Who are you trying to beat in a go match? She told him it was Yeonjin's husband, as she wanted Yeonjin to be abandoned when she received the punishment. No companions like friends, parents, her husband and daughter. No more love for Yeonjin. Dong-eun's look could scare people. Yoo-jong, who was mild nature, had an uncommon secret. He was born in a happy family. His father owned a hospital. As kind as his father was, he agreed to save a criminal with his medical ethics. After the criminal was saved, he took the life of Yoo-jong's father with a surgical knife. Yoo-jong had been outraged for such a long time, and he only felt peaceful when playing Go with Dong-eun. The thing was that the criminal wasn't sorry at all. He sent letters to Yoo-jong every month. On day, his colleague gave Yoo-jong's mother the latest letter. It made her boil over with silent indignation when she read it. The criminal wrote down how he ended the life of Yoo-jong's father, and how proud he was. She didn't know that he had been suffering from the criminal all those years, same as Dong-eun. Yoo-jong had a deadly feud. He usually imagined how he took the criminal's life at his home. After Sang-im learned that the criminal had mentally tortured her son for a long time, she immediately went to see the criminal. At first, he naively pretended to feel guilty. As soon as he was exposed, he took off the mask. He knew Yoo-jong's whole family was doctors. they each had their own lofty beliefs. For him, Yoojong's father deserved it. Sangam completely lost her mind. She cursed at him. Jae-joon received a toothbrush, attached with a note suggesting him a DNA test. Jae-joon did take a DNA test, though he didn't get it. He really had a daughter. It was Yi-sol, also Yeonjin's daughter. Jae-joon was very excited going to see her. She wanted to cross a road, but she couldn't distinguish the colors. He was so sure that Yi-sol was his daughter. Jae-joon hugged her with joy. Hearing the noise from the honk, he cursed loudly. Yi-sol was trembling with scare. Shortly afterwards, Jae-joon asked his lawyer about the custody. He wanted to take her from Yeonjin, as the lawyer told him that even if he sued her, he couldn't get the custody, because Yi-sol was born after Yeonjin got married to Do-young. Therefore, Yi-sol's father was still Do-young. Despite the DNA result, the judge wouldn't give him the custody unless Yeonjin divorced her husband. Right after that, Jae-joon questioned Yeonjin why she turned his daughter into another man's child. He strangled her to make her tell the truth. Whether or not did you know it after Yi-sol was born, or you wanted to keep it from me from the beginning? How could you maintain your marriage when bearing my child? Do you really want to abandon me? Before she could say a word, he gave her a kiss. Yeonjin kissed him back to relieve his danger. Whether did she love her husband or Jae-joon, Do-young realized that Yi-sol mistook the colors, but he didn't pay any attention to this. Yi-sol said there was an extra activity next week and she only needed him to attend. Do-young remembered that Yeonjin said Yi-sol didn't like her new homeroom teacher. The little girl wondered why her mother didn't like her homeroom teacher, because they were old friends. The following day, Do-young attended the extra activity at his daughter's school. However, Jae-joon was also there. Do-young wondered why Jae-joon came there. Jae-joon said his daughter was there as a hint for Do-young. Do-young was very uncomfortable with his attitude. To handle the situation, Jae-joon said he came to see his old friend. At that very moment, Do-young saw his daughter's homeroom teacher. It was Dong-eun, who was his rival in Go. To cover himself, Do-young asked Jae-joon about the relationship between him and Yeonjin. After the activity ended, Do-young took Yi-sol home, while Jae-joon stared at her. It made Do-young uncomfortable. Jae-joon said Yi-sol didn't resemble Do-young, and even challenged him. Before Do-young drove away, Jae-joon wondered if he found Myung-oh, Do-young would figure it out by himself without Myung-oh. Earlier, Do-young received an envelope. Inside was the photo of Dong-eun and Do-young. He believed that Myung-oh sent it, but he couldn't reach him on the phone. So he went to ask Jae-joon about Myung-oh. Jae-joon used the same cigarette as Yeonjin. Their style of smoking was exactly the same. Do-young raised doubts about his wife. Coming home, he saw the photo of Yeonjin and her friends. He couldn't get the doubts out of his head. When she came home, he asked why she often met up with Jae-joon and Myung-oh. She strongly denied it. She only bought clothes at Jae-joon's store and she didn't talk to Myung-oh for a while. Recently, Myung-do was weird, so she even asked if Myung-oh blackmailed him. Do-young easily noticed something wrong. Same as her friends, they also asked if Myung-oh blackmailed him once he asked about him. Yeonjin was so worried when he acted like that. Thus, she checked on his dash cam. He indeed went to see Jae-joon. This gave her goosebumps. When she bathed her daughter, Yeonjin heard a thrilling news. Aside from Do-young, Jae-joon also attended the extra activity. Yeonjin didn't know how long she could keep the secret. After the parents' meeting, Jae-joon threatened Dong-eun if she dared to do anything to Yi-sol, or he would give her a hard time. Dong-eun said if he wanted to take Yi-sol from Yeonjin, he should take side with her, because she would help him. To make sure of it, Dong-eun gave him Yi-sol's drawing. He felt very ashamed when he passed down the colorblindness to her. Dong-eun rushed to the toilet. She kept scrubbing her wrist. It recalled her of the bad memories. Yeonjin led her friends to hurt Dong-eun, and Jae-joon tortured her spirit. Jae-joon was also on the list of her enemies. Going on her revenge, she went to find Sae. She gave Dong-eun a bag full of cash. Sae thought money could erase all her sins. Dong-eun wouldn't spare her. Go to heaven after you die. If you don't, this place will be your hell. Sae grabbed her arm and asked what she meant. Dong-eun requested Sae to let her go, or else she would tell people Sae was an addict. Though Sae was as mad as hell, she still let Dong-eun go. Dong-eun gave Sae's money to send Hyunam's daughter abroad. It would give Hyunam time to revenge without any worries. Dong-eun told Hyunam she would expedite the plan. First, she would send Hyunam's daughter abroad. Though Hyunam had to live far from her daughter, it was the only way to keep her daughter safe from her abusive father and her mother's revenge plan. Also the way to keep her original wish. Dong-eun hoped she would consider the offer, since when Do-young saw Dong-eun at school, he realized it was not by accident that they encountered each other. To figure out why she approached him, he asked to see Haejong. Haejong was controlled by Dong-eun. She was already on Dong-eun's side. Do-young asked her about the relationship between Yeonjin and Dong-eun. Haejong said Yeonjin bullied Dong-eun during school days. Do-young wondered if it was school violence. Haejong confirmed it was really school violence. She also told him what Yeonjin did to Dong-eun back then. Do-young couldn't believe that his wife kept so many things from him. Yet, Haejong didn't tell him everything. She just said it was very sensational and he should ask his wife in person. He remembered what Dong-eun said. She bet her life so she got a win. Eventually, he could tell Dong-eun was taking a revenge on his wife. Do-young didn't know how to face Yeonjin. Going to the park alone, he saw Yoo-jong was playing Go with the elderly to stop those from clinging to him. Yoo-jong asked Do-young to help him out. While they were playing Go together, Do-young seemed to have many questions. He kept checking on his phone, then asked Yoo-jong if he was living near. Yoo-jong said he newly moved there in order to help his friend revenge. It sounded funny for Do-young. For him, revenge in South Korea was not easy. They were not allowed to use guns. Yoo-jong said they could use knives instead or shoot from afar. Because knives only worked in a close distance, and we could see ourselves in the enemy's eyes when they carried out an execution. Coming back home, Do-young questioned his wife if she knew Yi-sol's homeroom teacher. Yeonjin believed that he had known something, so she immediately mentioned their 10-year marriage and their daughter. He shouldn't doubt her just because of a stranger's words. And she claimed that everyone made mistakes, the one who is outstanding as her deserved him. Don't be curious about what inside the box, that's the best way to keep me and our daughter safe. Despite what she said, she wasn't out for sparing Dong-eun. Chief Shin gave her all the information about Dong-eun. Dong-eun's profile was perfect, yet, her mother loved money more than her daughter. Mihi was currently living miserable days. Yeonjin was sure that Mihi would be a weapon beating Dong-eun. Chief Shin also gave Yeonjin the address of Dong-eun. She was astonished when Dong-eun was living opposite her home. Dong-eun must have spied on her from there. Yeonjin felt ice shot down her spine. Then she paid for a man to break Dong-eun's door. As soon as entering the house, Yeonjin got scared. Photos of her and her friends were on the walls. Seeing so, she cursed at Dong-eun. For the first time, she felt regretted about bullying Dong-eun. She thought she should have ended Dong-eun's life. At the same time, Do-young met up with Dong-eun, even though he knew she was a victim. After all, Yeonjin had been with him for 10 years, so he still wanted to give his wife a chance to make things right. Dong-eun admitted that she approached him on purpose, then sent him the photo of them in the convenience store. Hearing her confession, Do-young guessed she was living near his home to revenge on his wife. While Yeonjin was stunned by the photos, Do-young visited Dong-eun's home. The married couple encountered there. What would happen in the end? When their eyes touched, Yeonjin couldn't hide her secret anymore. Looking around, he saw the door was broken and his wife entered someone's house without taking off her shoes. It made him feel like he didn't know the woman in front of him. Yeonjin told him that anyone could visit this place, but he could not. Do you begin to dislike a beautiful woman like me? Dong-eun heard them from next door. Do-young wondered if she had ever bullied someone to death or caused someone's death with her words. Yeonjin insisted that she was a victim, because Dong-eun had a conflict with her. She claimed not to bully Dong-eun. After Yeonjin left, Do-young had a close look at all the photos. He noticed a photo of Jae-joon and Yi-sol. It reminded him of Jae-joon's weird actions. He seemed to realize something. His secretary said Myung-oh left a few words before his missing. She gave him an USB. Do-young listened to the recording on the way. He learned that his wife had been cheating on him. Returning home in a huff, he saw the shopping bags from Jae-joon's store. All of them were placed nice and neatly in the wardrobe. At this very moment, he couldn't restrain himself anymore. The following day, Do-young went to Jae-joon to check it out. In the fitting room, he saw the shopping bags which were exactly the same as the ones at his home. There were a sofa and many bottles of wine. Recalling what Yeonjin had told him, Do-young realized that Yeonjin had an affair with Jae-joon and got pregnant. He was fooled and treated like a clown. Myung-oh blackmailed Yeonjin when he knew it was her who ended Sohee's life. He even called each of his friends and Dong-eun who revealed such a secret to him. Dong-eun was aware that he would betray her and she wasn't afraid. Myung-oh thought Sohee's death was not related to him. Dong-eun didn't think so. She believed he should have gone to hell. Myung-oh knew her death wasn't a threat to them, but Yeonjin's confession would work. Thus, he asked to see her in private. After that, Myung-oh disappeared. No traces left. Haejong reported his missing to the police as Dong-eun's request, the first one who went mad when Myung-oh disappeared because she needed his drug. Yeonjin was also on a knife edge. Gathering with her friends, she knew that Myung-oh called them each before his missing. Speaking of Sohee's death, they all looked at Yeonjin. Haejong asked if Yeonjin really took Sohee's life. Yeonjin recalled the incident on the school's rooftop. Sohee asked for help when her clothes were on fire. Yeonjin pushed her away and she fell off the rooftop. She laughed like crazy recalling the past, and blamed her friends for presumption. The police asked Jae-joon about Myung-oh. Jae-joon said there was a person who had been seeking for Myung-oh. The police wanted to know who it was. It was Chairman Ha Do-young. Jae-joon said Chairman looked really suspicious when giving him his card visit. Meanwhile, Dong-eun went to see Yeonjin and show her the evidences of school violence. Dong-eun gave her a chance to say sorry and right the wrong. This was one last chance thanks to Do-young's politeness. When visiting her home, Dong-eun persuaded Yeonjin to confess it to the police or beg for the victim's mercy, then she would stop her revenge. If Yeonjin went to the police station, her scandal would grab the headlines, and her career would be ruined. Anyways, Yeonjin believed she did nothing wrong because Dong-eun was born in hell. So it had nothing to do with her. Now Dong-eun can become. She even asked Dong-eun to thank her for giving a chance to be a teacher. Dong-eun no longer felt guilty, so she told the police officer that she handed over the exhibit long ago, so he grabbed Yeonjin's name tag in her hand when falling off. When Yeonjin's mother heard about this, she used her power to get the name tag, hence, Dong-eun had nothing to prove that Yeonjin too so his life. She just used a fake name tag to provoke Myung-oh to act, and she needed the police to find the real evidences. Actually, Yeonjin's mother didn't destroy the name tag yet. What was she going to do? Elsewhere, Dong-eun gave the investigation results of So-hee's death to the school nurse. So-hee's mother couldn't believe that So-hee took her own life, so she had been finding for help. And she gave the investigation result to Dong-eun when they met by chance. Yoo-jong said So-hee was pregnant. Dong-eun also told the school nurse about that. She promised to help So-hee's mother revenge. That was why she persisted in revenge until now. So-hee's death was also a drive force for Dong-eun to keep going on. After Dong-eun's place was exposed, she stayed at Yoo-jong's house. When Dong-eun returned to her place, she took off all the photos, and she discovered that a photo was missing. Dong-eun searched for it among the other photos. The missing one was the photo of Hyeon-nam's husband. Dong-eun told Hyeon-nam to beware of Yeonjin. As she predicted, Yeonjin was keeping the photo. She found Hyeon-nam and asked her for a talk. She used Hyeon-nam's daughter to threaten her, and forced her to betray Dong-eun. Once she could help her get rid of Dong-eun, Yeonjin would pay a vast sum of money and end the life of Hyeon-nam's husband. Hyeon-nam pretended to agree, but in fact, she was still on Dong-eun's side. She told Dong-eun that she would work for Yeonjin from then on. For the safety of her daughter, Hyeon-nam asked Dong-eun to take care of Sun-ae. For this reason, Dong-eun left Sun-ae at the school nurse house. Dong-eun also told Sun-ae not to contact anyone for a while. During the time she prepared everything for Sun-ae to study abroad. It was a rare chance for Sun-ae and she needed to work really hard. Leaving the country was the only thing she could do to help her mother. In the meantime, Yeonjin was seeing Dong-eun's mother. She said Dong-eun was working as a teacher at a public school. Yeonjin gave her lots of money to make Dong-eun quit school. Dong-eun's mother was going to hurt her daughter again. At school, Mihi made a noise. She attracted everyone's attention to find for Dong-eun. Mihi wondered if Dong-en was living well. When Dong-eun saw her mother, her eyes were filled with fear. She made a mess at Dong-eun's place at night. Dong-eun knew it was Yeonjin's act. To pay her back, she demanded Hae-jong to take Yeonjin to Yoo-jong's beauty clinic. There, Hae-jong told Yeonjin that Dong-eun was Do-young's partner at the Go Club. They often played Go together. Yeonjin didn't expect that her husband was close with Dong-eun. Hae-jong continued provoking Yeonjin. Your husband gave me a limited Hermes and asked about what you did to Dong-eun during school days. For the sake of our friendship, I told him nothing. In fact, Hae-jong did tell him everything a while ago. Yeonjin questioned her husband why he only met Hae-jong among her friends. Do-young wondered whom he should met. I didn't care about the addict Sa-rae. She ruined her own life. Do you mean Jae-jun, the missing Myung-oh, or your mother who spent money on the psychic? Which one of them should I ask? Yeonjin wondered if he would take side with Dong-eun. Failing to put a curb on his anger, he shouted out that he took side with his daughter. Don't talk too much if you did something wrong to us. Keep silence and wait. Yeonjin didn't regret at all. Do-young came to his office to find the photo of him and Dong-eun. He wanted to know where Myung-oh was. Then he asked to see Dong-eun at a restaurant in Seoul. Dong-eun took off her coat. Do-young saw her arms full of burns. The other guests looked at her with a wry face. She was used to it, seeing her scars. Do-young wondered why people were that cruel. He had many questions for her, since when he saw her scars, he knew why she was determined to revenge. Dong-eun wished he would divorce Yeonjin, because she wanted Yeonjin to be abandoned. Do-young asked her why. She felt like Do-young was her pride, so she wanted him to be Yeonjin's ruins. However, Do-young wouldn't divorce Yeonjin, for a reason that he couldn't tell, to reclaim her husband's affection. Yeonjin went to the beauty clinic. She fell in Yoo-jong's trap. After putting her under anesthetic, he asked what she did to Myung-oh. Yeonjin was astounded. She was the last one to see Myung-oh before he disappeared. Myung-oh knew Yeonjin caused the death of So-hee, and he had the evidences in his pocket. She took it out of his pocket. However, it was just strawberry-flavored condom. Her action confirmed her crime. He required 1 billion won or something else to keep his mouth shut, and even dishonored her with joy without sensing the death. Yunjin hit his head with a bottle of wine. She kept banging it against his head until he was motionless. When he stopped breathing, she asked Chief Shin to handle his body. She said Myung-oh scratched her foot. Maybe her skin was on his nail. Chief Shin was up to something else. Instead of helping her destroy the evidences, he used it to blackmail Yunjin. Thus, he frozen Myung-oh's body in a funeral home. Waking up from the dream, she insisted on checking the CCTV in the clinic to make sure no evidences were left. Running home, she checked around her body to see if Myung-oh's blood was still there. She freaked out for what happened earlier. The following day, she tried to make peace with her husband. However, he was still cold. She couldn't get why he played go with Dong-eun. Do-young was attracted by Dong-eun at first sight. When she didn't show up for a while, he wished to see her again, and in their next encounter, he was confused when missing a chance to play go with her. Yunjin reckoned that he was having an ideological adultery. That was also the reason why Do-young asked about her relationship with Jae-jun. Yunjin finally knew why Do-young was so angry. One day, Hae-jong suddenly remembered Myung-oh's iPad. It was synchronized with his phone. She found the recordings of Yunjin's crime, and shared it with Jae-jun. Jae-jun remembered that the archive file recorded on the day Myung-oh went missing was lost. He knew for sure that Myung-oh's death was related to Yunjin. It gave him a chance to get the custody, so he asked if Hae-jong agreed to marry him and take care of Yi-sol. Hae-jong immediately agreed as he was her crush so far. Yunjin went to Hyunam's place. Hyunam told her there was someone else helping Dong-eun, who was a doctor. Yunjin ordered Hyunam to keep following after her friends and report everything to her. She didn't give Hyunam's money for a day as a punishment to her. For this reason, he would come home earlier than usual, and beat Hyunam up. Then he realized the absence of his daughter, hence, he hurt her more. For the sake of her own daughter, she endured it without telling him where Sun-ae was. Sun-ae was already in America, living far from her violent father. Hyunam spied on Chief Shin and he often came to a funeral house, which was very suspicious. Dong-eun and Hyunam went there to find out his purpose. The place was abandoned, yet, the electric consumption was high. Dong-eun shared her thoughts with Yu-jong. Maybe Myung-oh's body was there. The following day, Dong-eun and Yu-jong went there together. They really found Myung-oh's body. To keep their safety, Yu-jong bought the funeral house and bribed the security guard. Though they found the body, there was still no evidence that could prove that was Yunjin's crime. When Yunjin went to Yu-jong's beauty clinic, he took her DNA while she was under anesthetic. It could prove her crime when compared her DNA with the piece of skin on Myung-oh's nail. At school, the school teacher had a hobby of taking little girls' bottom. After Dong-eun found out, she asked all the girls to get in the class. To punish the pervert, Dong-eun had another teacher to help her get the file, and sent all the photos to Jae-jun. Jae-jun lost his mind when his daughter was also a victim. He came to the school to take the memory card, and beat the pervert hollow. Yi-sol saw his violence. She told Do-young about it with fear. Jae-jun asked the police to put the pervert in jail. At this time, Do-rang's lawyer took out a settlement application to resolve this risk. Do-young asked if Jae-jun had any rights to sue the pervert teacher. Jae-jun said he was Yi-sol's father. Do-young didn't think Jae-jun was that base, different from his thought. Jae-jun seemed to have no shame. They then had a fight. Jae-jun lost the upper hand. He got a punch in the nose. Do-young sent his daughter to his mother's place to protect her. Yunjin got mad about that. She asked for an explanation. Do-young no longer cared about Yunjin's emotion. He told her, "Your lover came to my daughter's school. I'm ablaze with anger when he acted as my daughter's father. Are you wondering whether I know Yi-sol was really my daughter or not? I know everything." Do-young was honest with her. "You care for your safety more than Yi-sol's feeling. Don't you feel that I'd already known Jae-jun was Yi-sol's biological father?" Yunjin still denied it. She fancied herself as the one trying to maintain their marriage and blamed Do-young for digging up her past. Do-young claimed that Yi-sol was his daughter even if they got a divorce. Dong-eun's mother was acting crazy. She asked to see Yu-jong as Dong-eun's mother. Yu-jong didn't care as he knew her purpose. She even asked for gifts from the parents of Dong-eun's pupils on behalf of Dong-eun. The parents required Dong-eun to return them the gifts. Dong-eun found the boxes of high-end items in the trash bin. Then she went to find her mother in the rain, questioning why she tried to hurt her again. How could she ruin her own daughter's life for someone else? Why did she abandon Dong-eun one more time? How could she sell her own daughter? Dong-eun cut off the high-end bags with a pair of scissors. Mihi hit Dong-eun's head. Blood was running on her face. Dong-eun couldn't believe that her mother could be so cruel, which made her even more determined to take revenge. Those who bullied Dong-eun would be punished soon. To put an end to Sa-rae, she bought Sa-rae's favorite drugs. Sa-rae couldn't resist her favorite drug. Dong-eun sent a message to everyone in the church. It was the location of an excellent performance in the church. Taking the drugs, Sa-rae had a hallucination, and had indecent acts. Witnessing such a famous artist did those indecent acts. They took photos of her as evidences. After Hyunam noticed Yunjin, she went to the church as she knew it was Dong-eun's scheme. It was the first time Sa-rae was caught, so she would be free soon. Dong-eun couldn't beat them. Dong-eun's friend already posted about a weather broadcaster's school violence online. The topic of drugs and school violence hit the headlines. Dong-eun told Yunjin it was true that Sa-rae would be free after all. Yet, Yunjin took 2 people's lives. Yunjin asked for the evidences. Dong-eun claimed she had all the evidences. Everyone was talking about Sa-rae and the violent weather broadcaster. Hyunam left a comment telling everyone it was Yunjin. Reading all the curses people left in the comments section, Yunjin ran away to a quiet place to prevent the collapse of share prices. Dooyoung picked Yunjin up with a hope that they could overcome it together. The lawyer asked if it was really Yunjin. Yunjin kept denying it, because there was no evidences of her act. Dooyoung was really disappointed when Yunjin showed no remorse. Jae-jun and Hae-jong were staying together. Hae-jong let Jae-jun hear the recordings of Yunjin's crime. Jae-jun recollected that his expensive bottle of wine disappeared in the same day. It was the exhibit to prove that Yunjin ended Myung-oa's life. Hyunam told Yunjin about the relationship between Jae-jun and Hae-jong. To verify their relationship, Yunjin went to Jae-jun's home and encountered Hae-jong. Hae-jong said she was dating Jae-jun. Yunjin congratulated her, then asked why Hae-jong took her to Yoo-jong's clinic. Yoo-jong's family owned Seoul-ju General Hospital. She questioned Hae-jong since when she took side with Dong-eun. Hae-jong, after becoming Jae-jun's girlfriend, became very confident. She no longer let Yunjin held the upper hand. Hae-jong visited Sa-rae in the police station, trying to drive a wedge between Sa-rae and Yunjin. She said Yunjin's scandal was covered by Sa-rae's one. She even accused Sa-rae of evading taxes by her art exhibitions. Sa-rae changed her mind. After leaving the police station, she asked her mother about her old phone, which carried the evidences of Yunjin's school violence. Back then, So he wore the same skirt as Yunjin's. Sae filmed it when Yunjin forced Sohee took the skirt off. Yunjin didn't let her go. She slapped Sohee and kept forcing her to take off her skirt, so he did not dare to resist. Dooyoung was flabbergasted when reading the comments. He couldn't believe that his wife was such a person. Dooyoung asked Dong-eun about his wife. Dong-eun gave him the address of Sohee's mother. According to Dooyoung, the fastest way to take Yunjin down was to use Yi-sol. However, Dong-eun didn't want to hurt him. He wondered if she would be happy after the revenge. Dong-eun wished she would die in happiness. That was enough. Dooyoung found out that Sohee's body was kept in a hospital in Seoul, and the heir of this hospital was Yoo-jong. At Yoo-jong's home, Dong-eun opened the drawer. She saw different kinds of knives and letters from the prison. Reading those letters, she knew Yoo-jong seemed to live in hell, same as Dong-eun. He wanted to punish the criminals. He applied for a position as a doctor working in prison. There, he met the one who took his dad's life. The criminal told him why he ended the life of Yoo-jong's father. Back then, his arm was broken. The doctors there didn't dare to treat a criminal like him. Only Yoo-jong's father acted as a real doctor. Before the surgery, Yoo-jong's father remembered the appointment with his son. He didn't want Yoo-jong to have instant noodles which were harmful to health. It was an insult to the criminal. That was why Kang Yong-cheon ended his life with a knife after the surgery. Kang really wanted to see his son. This criminal was so sick. He told the unacceptable story with a calm voice. Yoo-jong was heartbroken when hearing the truth. He didn't know how to punish the criminal. Coming home, he had dinner with Dong-eun as usual without showing her recognize his sorrow. Dong-eun gave him an embrace. She had no intention to use Yi-sol for her revenge. Because of her mother's bothering, Dong-eun quit her job. Before leaving the school, she met Yi-sol, and promised to apologize before her death once Yi-sol asked. He acted crazy when Dong-eun asked her out of there. She criticized Dong-eun and wanted to use scissors to stab her. The sizzling sound of grilled meat scared Dong-eun. He knew Dong-eun was scared of fire. Dong-eun was angrier when her mother laughed at her. During the fight, he tipped over the grilled pan and the fire blazed. She screamed out and asked for Dong-eun's apology. How scary to have such a heartless mother. Dong-eun smiled and thanked her mother for having no change. It was all her plan. The doctor diagnosed her with a mental problem, and Dong-eun sent her to a madhouse. She whispered to her mother that it was her last mercy for their blood ties. Dong-eun's mother was punished. She had to live in a madhouse for the rest of her life. Due to Yunjin's scandal, Chief Shin asked for her money before she lost her career. He used Myung-oa's body to require her to buy him a house in Hawaii. However, the police found Myung-oa's body. Chief Shin had no time to manage. They didn't see Myung-oa's body there. At that time, Hae-jong called Yunjin. She said she had the recordings to prove that Yunjin put Myung-o to an end. Yunjin was as mad as a hornet. She dropped one thing which would bring her down later. Jae-jun told her that Myung-oa's body was put in the spot where Sohee fell down. He also let her know that Hae-jong was keeping the recordings. The bottle of wine in his store was left with Yunjin's fingerprints. Yunjin used their daughter as an excuse. She begged him to help her out. Jae-jun agreed with her and went to see Do-young. He gave Do-young the recording and threatened him with the custody. Jae-jun wanted Do-young to prove that Yunjin wasn't at the crime scene, so they would become accomplices. It sounded very contradictory. What would he choose? In the meantime, Sae went to Yunjin's home. She questioned why Yunjin covered her own scandal by her friend's one, and even told the reporters about her tax evasion. Yunjin realized that she lost something. She believed that it was dropped at the funeral home. At midnight, she sneaked into the funeral home to find her missing stuff. Yujong suddenly appeared. She said she needed to go to the toilet, however, he didn't leave her alone. You seem to be looking for something. Is this what you're looking for? He told her to take it back. Anyway, there was no need for other evidence then. At this time, Yunjin's mother needed Yunjin to pick her up at the police station. Hyunam told her husband that Yunjin took someone's life. After that, he blackmailed Yunjin's mother for money. He even went to her home to require money. Chief Shin refused to help them, out of choice. She asked the psychic to contact Hyunam's husband, and arrange a cash transaction at night. The man excitedly set off immediately. The death was waiting for him. Hong Yang-ae brought Chief Shin along to the transaction. She sped up and went right into Hyunam's husband, which caused his death. They came to the police station in a panic. As Chief Shin was with her, the police concluded it was just a car accident. To stay away from Yunjin and her mother, Chief Shin decided to flee away with his money. His myrmidon sensed it and asked him to share the money. Shin used his social position to oppress him. The myrmidon regarded Shin with disrelish, so he beat Shin up with a weapon. Chief Shin also left the world. Hyunam went to the police station to take her husband's body. Seeing his body, she was half sad half relieved, because her bright future was waiting. Hearing about Hyunam's death, she knew it wasn't just an accident, it was her mother's scheme. The psychic was possessed by Sohee. She asked Yunjin if she remembered her. Yunjin freaked out. She rolled her eyes at the psychic. Her memories flooded back in her mind. Yunjin scared Sohee with her lighter. She wanted Sohee to take off her clothes, yet, her clothes caught the fire, so he got scared and begged for help. Yunjin pushed her off the rooftop instead. Just like that, Sohee was always 18. Dong-eun saw it and she found Yunjin's name tag at the scene. Turning around, Yunjin saw Dong-eun staring at her. The psychic still talked about how Yunjin ended Sohee's life. Yunjin seemed to have a mental collapse. What happened next could take her down. The psychic kept jumping. In the end, she herself was punished with a sudden death. The reason why she died was hard to explain. Yunjin ran away with fear. Dong-eun cried for Sohee. Yunjin blamed Hyunam for setting up her husband's death, and got her mother involved. For this reason, Yunjin used Hyunam's daughter to threaten her. Hyunam no longer bit the bullet. She gave Yunjin a slap. Do-young saw it. He gave her two choices: apologize to the victim's family and offer a proper compensation, or divorce him. However, Yunjin denied causing Sohee's death. As a result, Do-young went public with their divorce. He completely abandoned her. Yi-sol heard that her mother hurt her friends with a hairdryer. She was afraid that her friends would isolate her. Thus, she began to feel sick of Yunjin. Indeed, Yi-sol was isolated at school due to her mother's scandal. Do-young still treated Yi-sol as his own daughter. He went to school to comfort her and opened his arms to embrace her. She hugged her father and said sorry. Do-young said it wasn't her faults. For her sake, Do-young decided to settle down abroad. Sae and Haejong attended Myung-oa's funeral. Haejong showed Sae the video of Sae using drug. Sae thought it was Yunjin's revenge on her. Haejong slipped her tongue so Sae realized it was Haejong's scheme. Sae stabbed Haejong in her neck with a pencil. Their friendship came to an end. The police came in time. Sae was caught red-handed. After that, Jae-jun went to see Yoo-jong for an autopsy of Sohee's body. Yoo-jong said Sohee was pregnant with Jae-jun's child. Dong-eun always thought that Myung-oh got Sohee pregnant. She was about to spare Jae-jun at first. Turns out he was also an evil like his friends. None of them was innocent, though Haejong's life was saved. She lost her voice. Jae-jun just broke up with her. Haejong failed to marry a rich man. Dong-eun suggested Haejong with a way to revenge on Jae-jun, which was to swap his eye drop. After that, she took it along to Jae-jun's home. While he didn't notice, she swapped his eye drop. When Jae-jun went to school to see his daughter, the mother said Yi-sol had a school transfer. He couldn't wait to call Do-young. Do-young didn't pick up the phone. While driving on the streets, he couldn't see everything clearly. The drug worked. Jae-jun stopped the car. At this time, a big truck went straight to his car. Jae-jun escaped from it. He reached a desert factory with his poor eyesight. Someone pushed him to a pool of cement. We could tell it wasn't Dong-eun by looking at his clothes. It must have been Do-young. It was the only way to protect his daughter. After all, Do-young went abroad with his daughter. Dong-eun threatened Hong Yang-ae with her scheme to fake a man's death with a car accident. Knife as a threat, asking her to give Jun-jin's name tag and give up Jun-jin. After weighing the pros and cons to ensure her own safety, she handed over the name tag to Dong-eun. Yun-jin heard their conversation. She screamed at her mother, and cried her eyes out when her own mother abandoned her. She lived in fear every day. Remembering the bottle of wine at Jae-jun's store, she immediately went to the crime scene where the police were already guarding it. Yun-jin was arrested for her crime. Dong-eun paid a visit to Yun-jin with a surprise. Yun-jin thought Myung-oh died of her attack. Jae-jun's staff hid herself in a corner until Yun-jin left the store. She found out that Myung-oh was still alive. Recalling how they bullied her during school days, she ended his life by bashing over his head with a bottle of wine. Dong-eun told her to tell the police station that Yun-jin was the culprit. Despite knowing the truth, Yun-jin couldn't turn it over. The bullies were all punished appropriately. Yun-jin and her mother were in jail for the rest of their lives. Dong-eun put persistent efforts on her journey of revenge. Wish you are warmed by a bit of sun, love yourself and your family.